What's good, everybody? Daniel Cruz here. Cook with Cruz, we back again. We're going to be breaking down a beat today on what I consider to be timeless instruments, meaning that you just can never go wrong with using these. You can hear the piano and the guitar throughout all genres of music throughout the past however many decades, forever. I feel like if you're having trouble making a beat or something like that, piano, guitar, you just can't go wrong. It's hard to mess up with that. So with this beat here today, we're gonna have the piano and some of the guitar that really drive the track on this one. Before we get started, one quick thing, if you could just take 0.2 seconds out of your time just to hit the thumbs up, the like button on this YouTube video, I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out my videos and the channel as a whole. And as always, you know the drill. Please leave some comments for me who you would hear on this beat, some suggestions, and what you think about the beat itself. Without further ado, let's get started. So there goes our main piano for this beat here. We got Keyscape, of course, LA Custom C7 Cinematic preset. And I went in and added a bit of a saturation filter here. Just EQ, somewhat of a wide bandpass here. And then I have a filter that I automated throughout the track to add some variation. So that's all the effects and everything for the piano here to get it to sound that way. On top of all that, I added an extra layer of a vinyl crackling noise that sits behind the piano to give it more of a vintage feel. On top of the piano, I added some high octave notes from another piano. It's the same preset in Keyscape here, just added a bunch of reverb to it. Just real simple octave notes just to give it more of a cool feel to it. And of course, next we got our bass coming in. This is Moog Modular Classic in the omnishpere. Just added some echo melt on top of it just to give it a cool effect. This is what we got for the bass. So the next thing I have coming in is the guitar. I just added some small licks into it. I think it sounds really dope. I kept it really subtle and simple. Let's go over it right now. So I really just recorded some real basic licks to sit behind the piano. Now to get the guitar to sound like that, I have some guitar rig here. We got Funky Ottawa preset, some reverb on top of it, and some EQ cutting out the highs. So as you can see there, real simple but effective. That's a nice touch to the background of the beat. Now that we have the guitar all done, we're gonna jump into the verse now. And the only thing I did different melodically was for the bass, I just left some space in between the notes to really open up the track here for the verse. It's the same patch and everything, just really opened up the notes. Other than that, I just have the piano playing and everything is the same. So with the verse dropping here, this is where the drums drop. We're gonna go over those right now. Here's our simple kick and snare just to start off with. open hat. And I got a snap playing at the end of every 4 bars here. And to fill it in, I got this drum loop here. Chopped it in here. Also at the end of every 4 bars, a little drum fill. Bringing it back. And now coming into the second 8 bars of the verse, just to add some variation, I took our piano and I put some movement on it. It's a pretty dope like sound design VST. I mentioned in a previous episode, I can't remember which video, but my CPU doesn't do well with movement. I have no idea why, even though I have a good one. So what I end up having to do every time is I render it into audio just so I can delete the plugin, just so I can continue making the beat without all the static and whatnot. But I think it adds a cool little effect. I'm gonna play it right here for you. I also add a little bit more to the drums for this part as well. Added a live hat loop right here that comes in with everything. Layered it with my own close hats and a little bit of some hat rolls, in addition to all the drums that we already have. So I'll bring everything back right now. And transitioning from the end of the verse into the pre-hook or the hook, depending on how the artist takes it. I just used another preset here from Rise and Hit. Can't go wrong with that. This pre-hook or hook part is what we built in the beginning actually. So I'll play it from the end of the verse going into this pre-hook. And then coming into the hook, or the biggest sounding part of the beat, everything's going to sound the same as the second 8 bars of the verse. The only thing I added was just a simple open hat that hits on every beat. It's crazy how something that simple can really make your drums sound a bit more fuller if you just have it sit in the background. It's funny, the more I make these videos, the more I realize how simple my beats actually are. They just sound really full. I feel like the key for producing really good beats for artists is to just have your main foundation that's really catchy, and then everything else you add to it has to complement that just sits behind it. But yes, let me know what you think in the comments. What do you hear on this, and some feedback on the beat itself. Again, this goes to show that you can't go wrong with guitar and piano. It's always going to work with every genre of music. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Again, make sure you leave that like for me. I'd really appreciate it, along with some comments. Make sure you're subscribed as always and hit the bell so you don't miss these videos. With all that being said, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next week. I'm out.